Hello, everybody. My name is Dave Short. I'm the Oklahoma PBL president and host of the 2014 PBL Pro Tips video series, which you are watching live right now on the Oklahoma PBL President YouTube channel as part of FBLA-PBL week, which is running all this week from February 9th through the 15th. It's a very exciting time for you to be able to hear from some of the best student leaders that our organization has to offer. And today we have Rohan, who is our FBLA North Central VP. Say hello, Rohan.
Hi, everyone. Glad to be with you today.
And we will have many other guests signed up on the list. We have 20 total guests for Pro Tips this year. And we still have FBLA President Cole Simmons and PBL President Donnie Iorio, who will be the last two interviews of this entire week, lined up for you later in the week, so you don't want to miss anything. It's going to be a great time. Well, we do have a bit of a tradition in the PBL Pro Tips series to start off with the same question that we ask everybody. So, Rohan, how did you get involved in FBLA, and tell us about the process of how you became an officer at the national level as well.
Okay, Dave. So actually that's kind of an interesting story. So basically when I joined FBLA, one of my family friends, he basically told me I had to join FBLA. He was our local chapter president. Our local chapter was in its 4th year at the time. And he basically told me I'm going to have to join. So I listened to him and I joined. And within the first couple weeks, I was immediately hooked on the organization. I enjoyed going through and learning about business and things like that, and networking with different business professionals in my community. Just being a freshman, I didn't have an officer role in my local chapter, but my chapter president and the rest of the members in my chapter really felt I was doing a good job, so they had me. They nominated me to be one of our candidates for state office during the upcoming year. So at the 2012 State Leadership Conference, I was a candidate for state parliamentarian as a freshman, which is kind of rare in Iowa. So after going through my conference and campaigning and all that, I was elected as our state parliamentarian. So from there, I had to attend the National Leadership Conference with the rest of my state. And after going to the opening session, the closing session, and the regional meetings, I was instantly hooked on the idea of being a national officer. It seemed like what we could do at the state level and bring it up to the national level would be a great opportunity to help this organization that I really enjoyed being a part of. So from there, I decided I wanted to run for national office. So throughout the year, working with my state, and I chose to run to be part of the National Parliamentarians Council. I was chosen to be the North Central Region parliamentarian. And on that council, I was responsible helping to put together different documents and things like that for members to use across the country. So when my state leadership conference came up during my sophomore year, I decided to run for state president. The membership graciously selected me as their state president for the next year, and from there I went to the National Leadership Conference and campaigned for the office of North Central Region Vice President, and I was elected. So here we are today.
Man, it sounds like you've been through the entire line, which is really cool to hear. Now, this PBL Pro Tips, it usually gets seen by a ton of PBL people, and not too many FBLA people will watch the Pro Tips, although I will have to say that because we have rock stars like you and Cole and Holland on the Pro Tips series this year, we probably will see a lot more FBLAers watching this. Can you give us PBL people who are kind of small on the convention thing? Like, our convention to us seems really huge, but the FBLA convention is so much bigger. Can you give us an idea of what that experience is like?
Oh, no doubt. It's really a unique experience. I think at the PBL level, you guys have around 2,000 members that attend the National Leadership Conference each year.
That's pretty close.
And at the FBLA level, this year we had over 9,000 people in Anaheim. So it's really a huge amount of people, and I'd say the biggest thing is there's so many different members, so many different ideas, so many different types of people, and just going out and interacting with people like that is really a unique opportunity that you can't really get in especially at the high school level. I think that that's really one big thing that FBLA has provided. It's given me a way I can go through and interact with so many different diverse types of people and really get to know them, whether and create some friendships that are lasting over thousands of miles across the country.
Well, I can't even imagine our conference being 3 times bigger than it is. So I can only begin to kind of understand how exciting that has to be. It's pretty competitive then to be a national officer in FBLA, right?
Oh yeah, some of the offices, like it really depends on the year and things like that. But for example, last year in 2012, we had 9 candidates for the office of national president. So running is always a big commitment, and you know that it's going to be very difficult. And I think a lot of people who choose to run know that just by campaigning, whether you get it or not, you're going to gain a lot of skills that you may not have been able to get otherwise. So I think campaigning is really a very interesting process and a very enjoyable one, in my opinion.
Well, you kind of brushed against the next question that I was going to ask you, which, great segue, by the way. Being prepared for the workforce, and you know, you're not going to be in high school forever, and eventually you're going to go to college and you're going to want to get a job, and hopefully with the skills that you learn in FBLA, it won't be flipping burgers at McDonald's or wherever, although that's not a bad job to have. Maybe somebody like yourself, like a national officer in FBLA, might be able to do a little more or something. But the question I have is, how do you feel FBLA is preparing you for the real world, the workforce, getting a career?
I'd say the biggest thing is it really provides a realistic outlook on what the rest of the world is like. Because like when we're in school or even in colleges and things like that, a lot of our education is based out of textbooks, based out of classrooms. It's all theory based. But the big thing that FBLA has really provided is it's provided that the next development that you need to take when going into something, whether it's the business world or any type of post-secondary or post-college opportunity out there. It's really that you're going to have to go around, you're going to have to interact with so many different types of people, and I think FBLA provides that opportunity for people, whether it's at the high school, the college, even now at the middle school level. I think it's really important that people have those skills developed when they're ready to enter the workforce. Especially today. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you go ahead.
Another big thing I think is that a lot of employers are looking to see what type of skills people have, especially in the communication field. And I think if FBLA is really good at developing people's communication abilities, whether it's over the phone or public speaking, things like that. And I think it's really important that people develop those skills, and FBLA provides members an opportunity to do that.
It's almost like we practiced this, and you came up with the perfect answer. And I know, and just a full disclosure, we did not practice this at all. That's exactly what I was going to say. It's something that I preach to the PBL people, our members in Oklahoma and really around the country, having the opportunity to talk to them like this through this series, is an active membership in FBLA-PBL prepares you for things that the average adult really doesn't get to experience in a practice setting, like job interviews and the opportunity to sit down and articulate what your goals are and where you want to be. It makes you stand out in a candidate pool of 100 people looking for the same job. Wouldn't you agree?
I would definitely agree, and I think it's important that and even though it helps you stand out, even more important is the skills you develop, I think, because the skills you're going to develop are always going to come in handy in life, whether you know it or not.
Well, these are some sharp answers you're giving me here. I'm pretty blown away. I shouldn't be. You're an FBLA national officer. You've got to know your stuff. Speaking of being a national FBLA officer, what are some things that you're working on to directly impact your region? Like, what are your goals? Maybe you can share that with us, because the majority of the people who are going to be watching this may not be fully aware of what it is you're focused on this year.
I think one of the big things that I really focused on personally was getting the national programs out there. This year at the FBLA level, we started one major new program called Chapter Challenge, and what that consisted of was 3 different types of activities your chapter could do throughout the year. So the first one was called September Sweep, or Super Sweep, sorry. And what it was is that you go through, you complete some activities based more around recruitment and developing your chapter at the beginning of the year. And if you completed all the tasks, your chapter was recognized at the National Fall Leadership Conference with a ribbon. And the next part was called Nonstop November. During this, a lot of it was focused on the National Business Education Month, which takes place in November. And during that time, they're really focused on, interacting with things like new businesses and things like that in your community, along with March of Dimes Prematurity Awareness Day, which occurs during that month as well. So for that, if your chapter completed it, you would be recognized at the National Leadership Conference this summer. And the third part, which is currently in action, is called Action Awareness. So that's really based around FBLA-PBL week, which is occurring right now as I speak right now. So it's really focused on getting people involved in things like that. I think the big thing is the more involvement they have in the national programs, the more they're going to learn about it, and it's going to help grow their chapters and grow our membership, which I think is really important. And another big thing we've been focusing on here in the North Central region in FBLA is the BAA awards. We're really encouraging chapters to go out there and have their members do these awards. These awards, the good thing about them is you can do them as an individual. You don't necessarily need your whole chapter to go through and do all the activities with you, although that's never a bad thing. And as you do that, you can get some recognition at the local, state, or national level, and it really teaches you a lot about what being an FBLA is all about.
Well, I think all of that is really cool. I just want to brag a little bit. Oklahoma totally dominated Super Sweeps in FBLA and in PBL, and I'm completely going to pat myself on the back for that. It was just really, like you said, an awareness issue. It was about making sure all of our people were aware of exactly how easy it is to stack up those points in your favor.
And I think, if I remember correctly, Oklahoma had nearly 100% participation, correct?
Yeah, that was one of my goals, was to get 100% participation, and in FBLA we definitely hit that, and in PBL I think we were really, really close. So it again is just using your social media, your Facebook and your Twitter and your Remind Me and all of those things that you have at your disposal to get the word out. So.
Yeah, that's another one of our focuses here in the North Central region this year is improving our social media presence. So if you go through and follow us on Twitter at FBLA NCRVP, or on Facebook, our FBLA North Central Region Vice President Facebook page, you'll be kept informed of all the activities that are going around in FBLA and specifically in the North Central region.
All right, so we're going to shift gears just a little bit as we start to wind this interview down. Let's focus on the future here. Now, have you begun to select a college yet? Is that something that you're into yet?
Being only a junior, I've only began looking at some of the colleges. I've begun some visits and things like that. And, there's a lot of colleges out there, so it's going to be a long process because I know I still have about another year before I have to commit to my college. But I've begun the process like a lot of juniors out there.
All right. Well, a lot of the focus in PBL is to get members that are part of FBLA to make the jump, it's not really a jump really, it's not even that difficult to make, but to make the transition from FBLA to PBL. What would you say are some things that students that are your age, junior and seniors in high school, can be looking forward to make that an easier transition?
I think the big thing is that PBL is actually very similar to how FBLA operates. I mean, the difference is this: the membership population is a little bit older, but other than that, it's really, really similar. We have the same type of conferences, the same type of membership, the same type of ideals and ideas. And I think that shifting over to the college level is just another, you could say, an advancement of the whole program, because I think for the most part everyone really enjoys being part of FBLA, and going into college, that's a really great experience to have when at the college level.
Yeah, I could totally agree with you there. When you have the opportunity to take something that you love, like FBLA, into college with you, it makes that daunting task of being acclimated to a big campus and to all these new people and all the, these classes. Sometimes your class is like almost a half mile from each other. It makes your life so much easier to know that you can do that with a network of people.
Definitely, I think it's really good to have that network, and as I said, it grows from the FBLA to the PBL level, and it's really important to have that.
Well, I'm going to give you an opportunity. If you could speak directly to PBL members, this is your opportunity. What is it that you would absolutely want to leave with PBL members who are in college and who want to mentor FBLA students and better themselves? What would you say to us to help FBLA members in their pursuit of excellence?
I would say the biggest thing is to go out there and reach out to the chapters that are in your local area. A lot of times high schools don't necessarily know that their college has a PBL chapter, or they're not 100% informed of all the activities that go on for the PBL chapter. I think the big thing is that, especially what we do in our local chapters, we try to partner with, we have a local college here that has a PBL chapter. We partner with them for a lot of our activities, especially the community service ones, and that really helps us with publicity and things like that, and getting more people to come to our events, especially with the general public. And I think by just reaching out, sending an email to the chapter president or some of the members, or just texting or calling them every now and then, it's really good to foster that relationship between the two and promote that synergy between them.
And I'm just going to expand a little bit in closing on what you said. If you find yourself going to a school as an FBLA student going into college that does not have a PBL chapter, I will just tell you, on the other side of setting up a bunch of chapters like I have this year, that it is not difficult to set up a PBL chapter. It seems like it would be this crazy, extra big, long task to add to an already huge list of being a freshman or sophomore in college, but all you need is 3 of your buddies, and I mean, who can't get on Facebook and say, who wants to share a pizza with me at Friday during lunch while we talk about PBL? I mean, it's very easy to do that, and then it takes $20, which, we all blow $20 at the mall without even thinking about it. So it's very easy to get your school going. If you're going to this huge, huge school, odds are there's already a PBL chapter that's just laying dormant for you to take over. So there's all of these opportunities for you to have a PBL chapter. So enough of me preaching at FBLA students, but I just want to let you know that PBL is not this stick in the mud that, this reputation that sometimes it gets. It's just as fun as FBLA. And we definitely want to make sure that everybody knows that you're more than welcome as an FBLA student to contact any of the PBL people, myself, any of our national officers, and we'd love to help you out. So, Rohan, how do people get a hold of you if they want to reach you?
Okay, so I think if you prefer, I'm pretty good with, you can just tweet at me at the FBLA NCRVP Twitter page. You can email me at fblancvp@fbla.org, or you could send me a message via Facebook. Those are probably the best options of getting a hold of me. I'm pretty good at getting back to you within a couple hours, so I'll be pretty good. And I look forward to hearing back from everyone throughout the next couple months.
Well, it's been awesome having Rohan on the PBL Pro Tip Series. We have much more in store for you this week. Keep in mind, again, that we're going to end the week with our 2 presidents, Donnie Iorio from PBL and Cole Simmons from FBLA. We also have some pretty impactful guests for you remaining, like the California officer team. The people who helped orchestrate our last NLC are going to be on the PBL Pro Tips to kind of walk us through that experience and to share their memories with us. We also have Glenn Gilliott, Southern Region PBL Vice President. We also have former Eastern VP Amrutha with us. So there is much more to see. Thank you so much for watching PBL Pro Tips. I'm your host, Dave Short, Oklahoma PBL President, and happy FBLA PBL Week.